Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. This is the Bunny Vision Movie Night, and of course, we're going to be watching a TV show. Oh, I don't know. That's weird. Let's talk about it. But welcome, everybody. Happy to have you here. Of course, I am Chester C. Busby III, your host, and happy to have you guys. We are going to be watching a TV show finale today, so a little bit of spoilers if you haven't watched it. But we thought this would be a little bit interesting because I think it's a bit controversial as well. But we'll get to that in a minute. But thank you guys for coming. Do check out our links down below, particularly to our fan speak, which is growing. We're almost at 200, huh, Dinale?
Yep. We're close to 200, couple more. But now that we said it, I know you guys are going to be trolling us by clicking off.
Probably, yeah. Oh, that's all right. And of course, we also have George with us. Hey, George, what's up, man?
Greetings, everybody. I am not looking forward to this torture that we're going to be subjecting me to.
Now, here's the interesting thing about that, George.
All my plan.
We were sitting here talking about what maybe we should watch because initially Denali wanted to watch a wrestler. And I was probably a little harsh on it. That movie's actually not bad, particularly Mickey Rourke. He does a really good job in it. But I just didn't think that that's something we want to watch on Bunny Vision Movie Night. It's not very exciting. So then we got into a conversation about maybe we should watch a bad movie. And then it came. We somehow worked ourselves down to watching Doom Patrol, the final episode, because Doom Patrol I think is very interesting. It has some good things, it has some bad things, and I think the last episode mixes everything in there together perfectly. So there's plenty to mock and there's plenty to praise. So we should have some
And
fun
I
with that.
wanted to watch The Room.
And no, because see, that's more of a fun bad movie watch. That's not what we want to do. We want to look at something where we can disagree. You know.
You know what? The Wrestler is probably one of the finest actings I've ever seen. It's a great movie, great story, and Mickey Rourke's finest moment in acting. So I don't even know why it was even mentioned as a bad movie option.
It wasn't. It wasn't. It was mentioned as a good movie option. I just didn't think it would be really good for this particular show. You know.
I
But
guess we have more popcorny films than drama films over here.
yeah, because we're doing commentary over it, and the wrestler. I mean, how much could we talk over that, right? I mean,
This acting is very good. He is also good acting here.
Yes, it's like
Did you guys see
let's
the
watch
news?
The Elephant Man.
This part is a bummer. Look at his face.
True. So we are going to watch the final episode of Doom Patrol. If that's a spoiler for you, we understand. But for those of you who've seen it or don't care about it, come over and watch it. It is absolute chaos. Let's talk about Doom Patrol a little bit. We're going to get to news as well here. We're going to do a little bit of news, but let's talk about Doom Patrol in general. Let's start with now because I know Booster likes it. So go ahead and start out, Booster. Tell us what is it you like about the Doom Patrol.
Well, I subscribed to the DC Universe app before Young Justice Season 3, right? Because I've been waiting on that for years. And I thought I'd check out Titans because it looked like an absolute disaster. And it delivered. That is a piece of crap show. Right. And I was thinking, if you wanted to watch something bad, we could have all watched Titans together. But I don't know if our subs deserve that kind of torment. And I suppose some people like Titans, they're wrong and stupid and have bad opinions. But then Doom Patrol comes out, and maybe I just loved it by contrast to Titans. I don't know, but I think the first episode is perfect. I think they have an absolute perfect pilot episode, right? We get Robot Man's origin. We start with him as our central character, and we see him grow throughout the years, and we introduce these other characters one by one, and I think it's flawless storytelling in that regard. And then the second episode, they introduced Cyborg for some reason. I thought our first four characters were great.
Well, it is interesting because I think the early episodes are really good. Actually, you're right. They introduce it really well. Now, I know George, on the other hand, hates this series. So give us the hate, George.
Where do I begin? I've read the Doom Patrol, the old and the new, and this I sort of like the series. up until the last episode, and then I'm going like, what the hell did just happen? I mean, did they just pull Game of Thrones here? It was so psychedelic. It, there was it was like the ending of where's it those Neil Gaiman's Gods, New Gods, or what is that Neil Gaiman series?
Good
I don't.
Omens,
No, not Good Omens.
The Furies.
American
So-
Gods.
American Gods.
Oh, American
American
Gods.
Gods. American Gods. American Gods had a similar psychedelic ending. I'm going like, oh my god, what's going on here? Everyone's pulling a Game of Thrones ending, so it's like you sit there, you watch an entire season, and then all of a sudden at the end they're pulling all these weird, crazy things out of left field, and going like, okay, so what a waste of my time.
Well,
What a waste.
to be fair, the final episode of Doom Patrol is unnecessary. You don't even need it. It doesn't need to be there. And I think that's why it got a little out of control. And once again, if you're worried about spoilers, I wouldn't worry too much because the final episode is not actually the final episode. Episode 14 is actually the final episode. This was tacked on for some reason. It's almost as if, oh yeah, we have 15 episodes we can do. Let's do this one. And actually, in this series, there are two throwaway episodes. There's this one, and then there's another one, which is basically a homosexual wet dream. The whatever. But those two are really
Danny
throwaway.
Street,
Yeah, Danny Street.
There are certainly a few SJW moments in the show, particularly with
there's
Crazy Jane. Gives some
tons
lip
of 'em.
service by using words like mansplaining. It's like, oh, quit it. Or toxic masculinity.
She says
It
it
is
a
kind
little
of
bit.
funny that all the feminist rhetoric is spouted by a character that no one likes. None of the other characters like. But
Well,
they
true.
never challenge her crap.
Well, no, Cliff does. The other
Yeah.
ones are very apathetic. I got a couple things to say about it, but let Dinale go first.
Like what? What do you want me to say?
Just give your opinion on Doom Patrol in general, or whatever you want to say about it.
Well, I mean, we reviewed Doom Patrol originally on Budding Vision Movie Night. We actually read the first comic, the last comic book issue on this and on earlier shows, and we said this was weird and trippy, and we can definitely see why the creator said Stan Lee stole the idea from X-Men from
he straight
from
up
this.
did. Yeah, straight up. Yeah.
And now we come here and we see it hasn't changed that much in the years. Add some SJW nonsense, and it's still doing a little bit better than the actual X-Men that's going on right now, especially with the recent release of Dark Phoenix, which...
Oh, right. Yeah, well, that
Oh,
was
that movie's getting destroyed. Oh, man.
We knew it was going to. I don't know why they put it out. It's almost as if you think Disney just wants to backhand Fox or something, but whatever.
Exactly. So, man, it's hilarious. It's funny. And like the show, I didn't have any expectations. I think we talked about it briefly, and you guys were talking about it yesterday, where they had to decide, do we put our budgets in costumes, acting, or story? And for the most part, they put it in acting and story, and everything else was terrible.
Oh yeah. The SF or FX budget on this movie is horrible. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I would recommend the guys, like, if this is going to be your budget, no more FX stuff. Keep it more grounded. Do it like theater, because that works. Every time you're doing these FX stuff, it doesn't work. It just wastes times. Don't do it.
And some of the CG in this is like reminiscent of Lawnmower Man. I mean, and I mean that in a very bad way. But my opinion.
That was a movie we could have watched.
Lawnmower Man, yeah. But we should watch Lawnmower Man sometime. But actually, my opinion on it is, I think, rather mixed. The initial few episodes of Doom Patrol are excellent, actually. They're really well done. And then I think they lost their way a little bit. And I think I can demonstrate that with Cliff, who is Robot Man, right? They start out with Cliff. The story really kind of revolves around him in the beginning. And then somehow along the way, they lose that because in the beginning, Cliff has quite a bit of depth. I mean, he's a race car driver. He's not necessarily the smartest person in the world, but he's not particularly dumb either. He's just kind of a redneck from Florida, and but there's a lot of depth to the character. And as the series go by, he just becomes a foul-mouthed moron, right? And it's like, why did you bother taking time to show the depth of this character and then just use him as some kind of joke prop later in your series? It doesn't make sense. But
They definitely turn him into a goof, huh?
they do. And but the thing with it, Brendan Fraser does an amazing job with that character. He really does. And the whole time his face is covered by a mask, right? He's a robot man, right? But his voice and it was a perfect choice. Brendan Fraser killed it, man. He did a great job with that character. It's just they, in essence, betrayed the character, I think, from what they set up in the beginning. And it almost feels this season feels as if three separate directors directed it. I feel right, and they should have stuck with whoever the first director was or where that first vision is because the first few
You
episodes
meant
are amazing.
for a TV show would be showrunner, so 3 different showrunners.
Yeah, it's completely
And
different
and they're
feels. Yeah,
yeah, and it's probably the case because the showrunner for like a couple episodes is different from another couple episode, which is different couple episodes. So I think they broke it up into 3 and say have at it, and all the best ones were top heavy, and all the bad ones was at the end, which is one of the reasons why I think DC Universe does the weekly things because they're going to force it. It's like, oh, they can't binge watch and say, oh, this sucks. They have to watch it to say, okay, I watched all of this. Now it sucks.
yeah. No, we've heard those arguments on both sides. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
But to continue with looking at the other characters, like with Larry or the actress or what have you, they're all well acted. The only one who's
Mm-hmm.
really challenged is whoever that girl is that's playing Jane. They put way too much pressure on that girl. She doesn't have the acting chops to do what they wanted her to do. She gave a good effort, though. I'm not giving any hate toward her at all, because
Yeah.
she tried hard. She did try hard. Her
Basically, the
character was
idea is
crap.
she's supposed to play a lot of different kind of
She
characters,
does,
and
yeah.
she's kind of a bit of a brash little bratty character, and she's supposed to be likable at the same time.
No,
It doesn't.
no, no.
Mm,
She's just this disgusting, miserable thing that no one would give any amount of time to.
yeah.
I mean, in reality, they would have kicked her out of that house. She's just a nasty, horrible thing that you wouldn't want to, you just don't want
Mm.
around you. And
The
I
actress does
understand
a good job. She
she
just is not
tries.
challenged enough by the other characters to make her more likable. Make her realize, wait, am I being a bitch? She's just a brat.
And that comes down to the writing, I think. But like I said, I don't want to hate on the girl because I think she tried real hard. But the real issue I have with all of that is the fact that it's a very dour and depressed story. They're all sad. They've all been messed with. They've all had bad things, and they spend decades just being sad. They're just sad. And they're a mess, and they have no focus. Right now, this is fine. There's nothing wrong with this, but the entire season they're this and they never change. They should have got them to a point of realization and coming together as a team and finding their spirit and becoming energetic and heroic. They should have had a moment like that mid-season, but they don't. They just keep them this kind of dowery, messy thing the entire season. It's too long. I don't mind them
Oh,
doing that storyline, but they needed to truncate that quite a bit.
wouldn't you say they have a few moments like that throughout the show? I thought there was a few moments like that.
Not really, dude. They're all just oh, woe's me, type of characters. And like I said, I have no trouble with that. It's just they should
Hmm.
have got them to the point of being the Doom Patrol sooner. And they
Right.
even mock themselves in the episode 14, which is the actual finale, not this 15 we're going to watch today. But they even mock themselves with the narrator, who's the guy who does this is freaking awesome, by the way. This is absolutely steals the whole series. But the narrator, he even mocks them for taking so long to get to where they should have been, right?
Yeah.
Right?
That was really fun.
Yeah, it is funny. He does a wonderful
Yeah.
job. That guy. He plays
hmm
the pilot on Firefly. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, Alan Tudyk
Yeah.
is playing Mr. Nobody in the show, and he is having a blast. You
Oh,
can see it.
dude,
And
he
he's loving it.
kills it, dude. He kills it. He kills
Yeah.
it. It's one of those wonderfully memorable performances that is worth the whole thing is worth it. I mean, the rest of it could have been an absolute trash fire all around him, but when he steps on the screen and he or you just hear him most of the time, that dude kills it. That's a wonderful performance from him. Good for him, dude. I didn't even know he had that voice range ability. Actually, didn't even know it. Um, but awesome job, awesome job. But the problem with this series is it's just very inconsistent. What I mentioned, the showrunners felt like there were three separate showrunners. But if they had stuck with how it started, it would have been a good show, I think. But in the end, I think it went from a potential A for me to like a C because of how they ended up ending the show and some of the stupid
hmm
things they did in it, right? Um, I mean, like the Jane character just was not developed properly, dude. She needed to have an arc. She doesn't. She's a nasty little
Yeah.
bitch the entire time. There's no arc.
She needed other characters to challenge her and call her out on
Yeah,
her bullshit, really. And she needed a bit of a realization. Instead, she just wanted to hide away in her little underground thing that she has going on and just die.
basically, and then all of a sudden not. And it's her own self, and of
Mm.
course it's her own self that brings it back. And of course, this is the problem. This show, as we were talking about this longer than I thought we would, but as Booster had mentioned, and Denali had mentioned as well, there is a lot of SJW crap in this. Unfortunately, it's intertwined in it. The heart of the show is not that, but it was infected by it is a word I guess I
Mm.
would use. And
There's
uh,
also a very interesting question as to how much SJW crap can you put up with before you go, yeah, screw this. Because that never occurred to me with this show. There are moments that made me like look cringe, right? But it was
yeah,
never a deal breaker.
that's right. It's not. But Jane most certainly is the SJW cancer of the show. And I really think it's unfortunate because that girl tried so hard. She just isn't up to the task. She's not good enough to be what they wanted her to be. But 'cause I feel a little bit bad for
Well,
that actress, to be honest with you.
well, we're thankful that she's not where we want to be, or else we would be actually raging at her, at her character even more than
Yeah, but
what we kind of are.
Yeah, but even when she does say some super cringy thing, you can tell it's not coming from the heart. It's just she's reading a line, right?
Yeah,
Right.
She's
she
not
needed
that.
more.
Yeah.
She needed more redeemable or sympathetic moments that made us realize why Robot Man cared about her. Because otherwise, it just felt sad. It was like the Giving Tree, right?
Well,
Kind of.
and
Oh my God, it is the Giving Tree story.
it is,
Yep.
yeah. And
Portraying Robot
maybe
Man and Crazy Jane.
maybe it would have been better if they had reduced her down to say three characters and let her really focus on developing those three characters because the Jane character is just her. It's just the actress herself, right? And the other characters are acted, you can tell. And some of them are really bad and some of them are okay. And it's just because they were asking her to play six, seven, eight characters, right? And it's like, what the hell are you doing? This girl doesn't have those chops, man. She doesn't have those chops, right? And it is what it is. But I mean,
Mm.
we were talking the other day, and that girl who played Orphan Black, she would have been a
Mhm.
better choice for that character. Actually, that actress would have done a better job.
The character I actually really loved was Rita Farr. I think that
Oh,
actress
Rita
did
was
a
amazing.
great job with her. She did a very posh voice, and she was very proper, prim. She really delved into that character.
Yeah,
She
she
was
did a
Rita
great
Farr.
job.
Yeah,
She did. She
just
did.
fantastic.
Yeah, like the acting overall, is particularly from the core, Cliff, Robot Man, Negative Man, which I can't remember that actor. Of course, I've seen him. I know exactly who he is.
Matt.
That's
Uh,
Matt Bomber.
yeah.
Matt Bomber, and
Great guy.
And here's the thing: they do push his gay storyline a lot in the show, but I don't know, it doesn't bother you because
I
it's
think
just a
it
love story. It's not,
I
hey,
think it
gay is
works in this
awesome, you
case.
idiot. It's just a love story.
I think it works in this case because he's a man from the 60s when that kind of thing was far more frowned upon, right?
Oh
Like
yeah.
a 2000s coming out story doesn't work. But a man from the 60s who's hiding from his family to be with his gay lover, that's far more interesting.
Yeah, but it was just a love story. It wasn't trying to bash you in the head and say, you homophobe. It wasn't doing that. It was just a love story, and I thought that it was done well. And that guy's a great actor. He
Yeah,
did a
yeah,
wonderful
absolutely.
job with the role. I just think it
Mhm.
was too sad for the whole damn time. They needed to have like a mid-season event that shook them up and brought them together as a team, and they started shedding this pessimistic, gloomy Gus nonsense about themselves. They should have done that, and they didn't do that. And this is where I
Uh,
think they failed.
I don't remember the original Doom Patrol being happy. I think they were set in the
Yeah, yeah,
original
yeah. But
comics as well.
but that's and I have no problem with them telling that story. I just saying they needed to get to the point where they actually became the Doom Patrol, and they never really did that. Right now, maybe in the next season they will if it gets a second season, but I don't know. But the thing is, I thought was odd was uh, like I said, there's two throwaway episodes in a 15 episode season. So it's like, why did you bother even to do 15? Just do the tight 13, right? Or 10. But the two throwaway episodes, it's really strange to me that the last episode is one of them because the one we're going to watch here in a moment is a throwaway episode. You don't need it at all. It doesn't add anything to the story at all. And it's absolutely insane. It's obviously was rushed. I just don't know why you would make your final episode of the season one of your throwaways. It's weird.
So, do you think we talked too much about this to do the news now?
I think
Yeah,
so.
I think we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. Well, we got into it. That's good.
Yeah, it is good. And but
Mhm.
let's get an honest overall assessment. I mean, me personally, like I said, I'm giving it a C, but I don't hate on it. I want to see what they do in season two. I actually enjoyed a lot of
Mm.
what they did in Doom Patrol.
I
What
give it a I give it a very strong better than Titans out of 10. I am looking forward to season 2.
There you go. There you go. What about you, Janelli?
I don't care.
Okay. All right.
Uh, it started I don't care and it ended I don't care.
All right. That's fair enough. I can see that. George?
It's a hard pass. I can't mentally invest any more time on stuff that pulls a Game of Thrones ending type of ending. I can't do it. It's a complete waste of my time.
I see.
I don't appreciate it. I really don't appreciate it. It's it's terrible.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. All right.
Game of Thrones was the capper. As soon as that season was over, one of the first things I said to myself is, I am not gonna if I see something going south in a series
Mhm.
of any kind, I'm not gonna waste my time on it anymore. Period. I'll just wait and listen to what people have to say about it, and relish that I haven't that I spent my time more wisely.
Mhm. Yeah, well, okay, fair enough. I mean, I agree. They did drop the ball at the end of the season. They did. It is what it is. But I'm intrigued enough that I want to see more of it because I really like the especially Larry, Cliff, and Rita. I like them. They did a really wonderful job. We haven't mentioned Cyborg at all. And here's the thing I'll say about Cyborg. They shouldn't have put him in here. But the fact he was
He
in
didn't
here,
need to be there.
he didn't need to be
Yeah.
there. They didn't cast him properly. I mean, Cyborg is a
Mm.
quarterback. This guy isn't even big enough to be a safety. I mean, literally, he's
Yeah.
not. He's too small.
He's a teeny fella. I
However,
think he tries. Yeah.
yes, I think he tries really
Mm.
hard, actually, and I give him credit for that. And the character
Mhm.
grew on me. He did. He's this noisy, loud, annoying character, but that's kind of the point of the show. They're all broken. He's broken too, and he gets a nice little arc. Actually, he's the only one that gets a real arc, really. If we think about Larry, well, a little bit, I guess, but Cyborg gets the best arc in the show. for sure. So
Yeah, yeah.
I started out annoyed at him, and then by the end, I was like, okay, all right, it shouldn't have been there, but I'm not hating on him. But anyway, let me do one news, and then we'll watch our thing because we do have about 5 minutes. So, and the one news we're going to do is this one. So let me come over and just share real quick with the guys here.
Didn't anyone like True Blood?
Oh well, no, the True Blood ended badly, yeah, and that was dumb. What they did with that, it really was. You guys can just click on my white box me to see what I'm looking at here, but we'll do this one. Now we had a few pieces of news. We had a thing about Admiral Akbar, and I think we'll cover that tomorrow. We had this one here about Archie and IDW, and we also had this sadness, which is not sad to me at all. But this is
Oh,
the one we're going
not.
to talk
I
about.
love Happy.
No, it's not happy, dude. That is deadly class. We don't need it.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh.
this is what I want to talk about here for a few minutes.
Well, Happy and Deadly Class got canceled.
Oh, Happy too. Oh, I liked
Yeah.
Happy, man.
Yeah,
Happy's great.
yeah, they both got canceled.
But Amazon went and canceled the Tick too. It's like, why are you canceling the good stuff and leaving the crap, man? Because Happy was a great fun show, man. I love that. That was good.
Yeah,
But
talk about insanity, all right.
well, it had a middle-aged man in it. Can't have that now, can we?
Yes, it was.
I mean, that's what it comes down to, right? But anyway, X-Men Dark Phoenix Rotten Tomato scores chilling in the trash heap. We don't give a shit what. Oh, sorry, ding ding. We don't
Oh,
care what Rotten Tomatoes has to say anyway. But we've talked about this movie several times. At least Denali and I have, and we
yeah.
knew this movie was going to be a train wreck. We knew it. Right, and this is what shocked me that Disney would bother to put it out because we knew it was a horrible flick, and it is. I've watched the reviewers that I trust, right? Because that's how you find a reviewer. We all know this. You go and watch a bunch of reviewers till you find one that is similar to your thinking, right? And there's a few guys I watch on the internet that think like me. And girl, Grace doesn't think like I do, but I do appreciate her view because she's quite honest. I do watch Grace's reviews, but
Mhm.
all of them agree this is an absolute trash fire, and it's the worst X-Men movie ever made. It is a remake of The Last Stand, which everyone hated, but it's much worse than The Last Stand. How do you do that?
Yeesh, that
Yeah.
How
is
how do you do
scary.
that?
I'm almost tempted to watch it out of sheer curiosity.
Yeah,
Don't. It's like the Covenant. You don't watch
Yeah.
it, or else your face will melt.
Oh, I'm so
But
curious though. What could be so bad?
but
Oh,
but it's not
oh,
surprising because I mean even I reported it back then
yeah,
that the person who's doing it was the writer of The Last Stand,
yep. And
Simon Film.
he's never done directing ever. This movie is his
Exactly.
first directed movie ever.
Yeah.
And you give
Well,
him a tentpole AAA movie as his first one. Really?
what I heard was that Jennifer Lawrence put her foot down and demanded that guy uh, be the director,
Yeah, but
and they
that's
made a
dumb
lot of
because Jennifer.
SJW demands.
Yeah, but see,
why would they listen to actors?
yeah, especially Jennifer Lawrence. I mean, what if she's a trash fire all on her own?
Who cares about Jennifer Bloody
Nobody
Lawrence?
cares about Jennifer Lawrence, and she doesn't care either because she's wanted out of this series for several movies. She doesn't want. She has no love for this.
I
And then,
demand equal pay. 50 million's not enough.
yeah, right. And it's like you are not interesting enough. You're not important enough for these series, and I wish they would have cut her out 3 movies ago. But that's a whole nother conversation. Jennifer fucking Lawrence. Oh, sorry about that.
Well,
Ding ding.
apparently she ruined her character. Her character is supposed to be all about being who you are, and and showing off the blue form. In this movie, she doesn't show off her blue form at all. It's completely 180 on the character itself too.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, no,
she's a terrible
She could,
Mystique.
yeah,
yeah, she
Jennifer
couldn't be
Lawrence is
bothered
horrible.
to put the blue makeup on, but it kind of shows this is just a week of everybody showing their true colors.
It is. It is. Yeah. And it's too bad. I mean, I really don't. I'm sitting here really trying to understand why Disney would even bother to throw it out. I guess for them, in a way, it's free money, any money it makes is free money, I suppose. But they did have to advertise it. But then again, maybe they didn't put that much money in advertising. I don't know. But
They could write it off as a one of those write-offs
yeah, but
for tax purposes.
yeah, but it is really bad. And I have heard the only positive I heard was from Stuckman, and he said the acting is okay. And that's about the best
Yeah,
I've heard. That's the only
Ooh, that's
positive note.
brutal.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
oh, that's a head rush.
yeah. And it's and the thing is that it really is an attempt by the writer of The Last Stand to do it better, but he ends up doing it worse. And it's, probably because you're not a director. Because keep in mind, I said this is the only thing he's ever directed, but that's not true. He did direct something else recently. He directed one of the remake episodes of Twilight Zone from that Peel idiot or whatever his name
Oh,
is. Because the Twilight remake is an absolute disaster. We haven't talked about that yet, but that is pure SJW nonsense.
oh, it's
Nonsense.
terrible.
It's
Absolutely
racist, it's
terrible.
hateful. It is not the Twilight Zone. You totally missed the point, dude. I mean, if you're doing something like Star Trek and you're doing some kind of heavy social commentary, okay, fine, because Star Trek has always done that. But the Twilight Zone was just pure fun, right? It's not political, guys. It's the Twilight Zone, but they didn't get
And,
that.
and and all those episodes are just remakes. There was no original episode in any of this, whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it.
Well, let's be accurate,
Well,
George. They're
yeah.
SJW remakes.
Oh, no. It doesn't matter what they are. They are all remakes. There was not an original episode at all.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter if you call it SJW or MGM or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's all remakes. There wasn't an original thought into this production at all.
Well, another problem they have. Who is the dude? He's the one who's doing it. I said Peel. It's not Peel. It's the guy who does Get Out and Us. What's that director's name? He's the one in charge of
Uh,
the Twilight Zone. Yeah,
let me see. I
I
think
can't.
it's Keenan. Let me
No, it's
see.
not. It's not. It's not. People keep ascribing them to it, but it's not actually.
Yeah, it's Jordan. Yeah, you were right. Jordan Peele. That's
It
the
is Jordan Peele. Okay.
yeah.
But okay. So that dude I'm thinking about, he must have been directed an episode or two. Okay, okay. But this guy,
Yeah,
he gets all kind of praise, for his Get Out and Us and stuff. Those are
yeah.
absolutely racist, hateful crap. Those movies, they're not very good. But everyone says a lot of good things about him because he's a black guy, and you can't dare say something negative about a black director, right? For some reason, because it's just pure up racism, especially Us. I mean, Get Out was okay, but Us is just pure hardcore racism. It's just racism, right? And it's like, why are we supporting this? But hey, it is what it is. Nevertheless, it's unfortunate that this is the last bit of Fox we got. I just don't know why they put it out because they knew it was bad. A year ago, they knew it was bad. But it is what it is. But anyway,
Eggs will have whimper.
it did. Let me come over here real quick and jump over to the Bunny Vision area. And now just click on that link, guys, if you want to come over and join us. We are going to watch Doom Patrol and have a chat with them. We'll see how this works, right? Because we haven't done a bad movie yet or a bad thing yet, and this is actually questionable whether it's bad or not, because I think we have different opinions. But um, thank you very much for joining us. Come over and be on the Rabbit with us, because I am going to shut this stream down and we'll just watch the Rabbit
Mhm.
together. But thank you very much. Definitely come back and check us out tomorrow, which we'll have comic news today as usual, and we'll actually cover that Akbar one tomorrow for sure, because I want to talk about that. And of course, we'll have the Monster MD is going to be on Drone Recorded Fan Edition, which that's going to be fun. That's a cool looking comic, and we definitely going to talk to those guys getting back in here. But other than that, Denali, take us out, man.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us for this truncated stream. Join us over at Rabbit. The link is in the chat. And see you tomorrow for Comics News Today. But as always, your perception shapes your reality, so always make it a good one.
Later, guys.
Namaste.
Aloha.